President Trump has just fired his Attorney General Pam Bondi. He announced on Truth Social that the Deputy Attorney General, Todd Blanche, will fill in as an acting Attorney General until they find someone for that role permanently. Now, this move comes as we had reported that President Trump had a tough conversation with Bondi, in which they talked about the future of the role. And President Trump let her know that she would likely be replaced. Now, we had sources saying that Bondi thought maybe she could still keep her job, but it is official that she has been fired. Now, one interesting point of this is only the second cabinet member to be fired, the first being, of course, Kristi Noem. But in the post about Bondi, President Trump praised her, but also said that she would be moving to another job in the private sector. Now, we were told when they had this private conversation that President Trump had suggested an idea of a potential judgeship or a job in the administration. But it was clear from President Trump's post that she would not be working with the administration in the future. All of this coming as President Trump had grown more and more frustrated with Bondi, specifically over the handling of the Epstein files, as well as what he viewed as her not bringing cases against his political enemies fast enough.
Another one bites the dust. Another one bites the dust. Pam Bondi has been fired. These people never learn. They'll prosecute his enemies. They'll cover up for human scum in the list. They'll do whatever he says to do. But the moment those poll numbers start looking bad, which honestly they've been looking bad for a long time, you get the boot. So Bondi is the latest victim of the crony cycle. And it's really amazing how they don't see this coming. They always appoint someone unqualified, which check. Bondi was the most unqualified attorney general in history. They get confirmed by the U.S. Senate. Trump then puts them in a completely ridiculous situation, which, covering up for human scum, I would say that checks that part of the list. Bondi then fails because we all saw her put out fake binders and everything else. We saw her cover up for these people. And because it tanked Trump's approval numbers, what did he do? He sent her along her way and fired her. It's the same thing over and over and over again. And by the way, you committed crimes for Trump, and we're not going to forget all that, and these stupid Republicans still can't figure it out. So long, Pam Bondi. Will forever have the memories, but remember, the Dow's not at 50K, so you had to get.
Hey guys, remember when I told you that the women in this administration would be the first to be fired because they are only allowed to have political power by conservative men as long as they are useful, and as soon as they aren't useful, they're going to get thrown under the bus? You remember that?
Happy Thursday. Pam Bondi just got fired. Rumors started circulating last night that Trump had expressed that he was planning to fire her, and then today he did. What do you think the odds are that dementia has just eaten away so much that guy still thinks he's running the Apprentice? And he's like, "You're there." I think it's more than that. There's people who are like, oh, it's because she didn't handle the Epstein files and didn't release them. Yeah, I don't think he's upset about those not being released. I think it's better odds that her meltdown in front of Congress, which was not well received by MAGA as a whole, who were calling for her resignation. I think he's upset at her handling of the Epstein files by basically not making it go away. But the rumor inside is that it's really about the fact that she hasn't prosecuted his political adversaries fast enough. That's what he's mad about. So first he tried to make Matt Gaetz Attorney General. That didn't go so well. Then it was her. Now it's going to be interim, acting Todd Blanche, her deputy, who's also a shitbag. But he's looking for someone else. Who do you think it's going to be? When Trump wanders out into a random yard and just starts searching for new dog turds, which dog turd do you think he's going to pick to be the new Attorney General?
So Pam Bondi got fired, and I think this shows us that loyalty to Trump doesn't guarantee loyalty from Trump, because not only did she put her license in jeopardy for lying to the Oversight Committee, she still has to go in front of the Oversight Committee now. It's a crazy situation that she's in because she's put her license on the line, potentially could go to jail for what she's testified and lied for Donald Trump, who then fired her. And I just want people to remember that this is kind of the state of the administration right now. Kristi Noem kind of is going somewhere else. Pam Bondi is gone, and she still has to stand trial and might even go to jail for lying on Trump's behalf. Meanwhile, he just kicked her to the curb. You can't be loyal to people who are only loyal to money. And I want this to really resonate with a lot of people, because at the end of the day, This is what the administration is. Not loyal to anyone, not loyal to America, not loyal to MAGA. It is loyal to money. And that's it.
I'll show that washed up reality star who's boss. Somebody get my lawyer ASAP. We have work to do, okay? Unlawful termination when he promised me that he would take care of me. Do you want to know why I have to shout so much? Because Donnie has dementia, all right? I said get my lawyer, and I don't want anybody else to tag me anymore on these posts about the Dow being over 50,000. I get it. It's under 50,000 now, all right? And now he's going to replace me with Lee Zeldin. Lee Zeldin went to school at SUNY. That's not even a real school, okay? And guys, I just know that this dementia patient... I need my lawyer. I perjured myself for this man, and I need to understand what my rights are and what's going to happen here when I get replaced, because I'm just a bit verklempt, because I think I should sing like a bird and tell everybody what I know, what I've seen in the Epstein files, because his name appears more than Harry Potter's name appears in the entire series. J.K. Rowling, wonderful person though. This will not be the last y'all have heard of Pam Bondi!
Now that Pam Bondi is out as Attorney General, we need to talk about what's going to happen to the Epstein investigation and what's going to happen to her subpoena about her handling of the Epstein files. Is she still going to have to go in and answer questions under oath? Well, the fact is she has already been subpoenaed. That is a legal document. It's done. And she is scheduled to be deposed by the House Oversight Committee on April 14th. But technically, that's not the end of it. So let me back up here. Remember 2 weeks ago when I reported that Pam Bondi showed up on Capitol Hill and answered questions from the House Oversight Committee about the Epstein files. But it was done behind closed doors, it was not recorded, and she was not under oath. Remember, the Democrats on that committee were so pissed about that they walked out because they said the whole thing was a show and wasn't really about getting answers. Well, even after the Democrats left, the Republicans on that committee stayed. And they say Bondi answered several questions. And even the House Oversight Chairman, Republican James Comer, said he was absolutely satisfied with Bondi's answers. In fact, after that day, some of the Republicans on the committee who voted along with all the Democrats to subpoena Pam Bondi openly started to float the idea of dropping the subpoena and telling Bondi she didn't have to come in, she had done enough. But not all Republicans felt that way. Moments ago, Republican Representative from South Carolina Nancy Mace posted this to her social media page saying, Pam Bondi will soon leave her job as Attorney General. My subpoena still stands. When the Oversight Committee moved to subpoena Bondi, I did it by name, not by or not as the sitting Attorney General of the U.S. Release the Epstein files. So obviously Nancy Mace is not going to drop her support of the subpoena. And the Democrats on the House committee are not backing down either. They posted this to their social media page just a little while ago saying, Bondi will not escape accountability and remains legally obligated to appear before our committee under oath. But it's not entirely up to them. Chairman Comer, who was opposed to issuing the subpoena for Pam Bondi in the first place, is right now reportedly talking to other Republicans on the committee to figure out what to do next with that subpoena. It is possible that they could vote to drop it. Now, if the committee wants to be consistent, they have already subpoenaed and deposed other former attorney generals about the whole Epstein issue, including former Attorney General Bill Barr. So even if Bondi is a former AG, there is precedent for this deposition to move forward. So as of right now, Pam Bondi is still scheduled to be deposed on April 14th about her handling of the Epstein files. I will let you know if that changes.
United States citizens, I want you to put your hands together and give a warm round of applause to Miss Pam Bondi, the former Attorney General of the United States. Yeah, she was fired today, and she now joins that list of evil white women who continue to protect eviler white men, and then they get burned in the end. Yay! Congratulations! Reportedly, Trump fired her because of how she handled the files, people. Because of how she handled the files. But from where I'm standing, she did exactly what the wanted her to do. The same files that under Bondi, the DOJ removed tens of thousands of pages. They redacted hundreds of names. The DOJ illegally withheld files that had Trump's name, especially considering the files related to the allegations of Trump sexually abusing a minor. This is all according to NPR. They redacted so much of the files when they decided to release it to us. It was to the point where lawmakers argued that the redactions were made to protect the elites instead of the survivors. And this is all according to CBC. So why fire her? She's doing what you wanted. She's literally doing what you wanted. She successfully botched the release of the files. You understand? She downplayed the number of victims and she backtracked on the existence of a client list. She's doing exactly what you wanted her to do. So already going through all of that research, I'm like, nah, she did not get fired because of how she handled the files. That's not the reason why. But let's also talk about more of the things that she did that was in benefit of the Trump regime. So I'm trying to understand why she got fired. Did you guys know that Bondi, former Attorney General of the United States of America, had dropped over 23,000 criminal investigations in the first 6 months of Trump's presidency? The source, ProPublica. She did so because the Trump presidency is in favor of prosecuting immigration cases, not criminal ones. Like, that's what he wanted her to do. Also, please note that many of those cases that got dismissed pertain to white-collar crime and corporate enforcement, right? But guess how many immigration cases that Bondi actually prosecuted within the first 6 months? 32,000. She dropped 23,000 criminal cases and prosecuted 32,000 immigration cases. That sounds like that's what Trump wanted her to do. She also helped to see that the corporate crimes ran smoothly, that they continued to run smoothly. The Trump administration had dropped 159 out of 166 enforcement actions against big corporations. You know, some of Trump's friends. This was all under Bondi. The source, Public Citizen. With Bondi's DOJ, right, at least 18 companies avoided $3.1 billion in penalties. $3.1 billion in penalties. An action that I'm sure many of these big companies were happy to see, thrilled to see, so much so that over 30 of those companies and businesses that had enforcement actions dropped against them, they made donations towards Trump's inauguration or towards the White House ballroom. And even though we're saying in the first 6 months of Trump's presidency, understand it's only really been 4. His inauguration was in January. It's been 4 months. 4. And this evil white woman did all of that shit to protect these eviler white men and still got burned in the end. Still lost her job in the end. Has no reputation. Has lost the respect of the entire American nation. Hey, good for you. Good for you. But anyway, though, to get back on track, she did exactly what he wanted her to do. So that leads me to believe, because, you know, Donald Trump, he possessed the characteristic traits of a person who's always used money to get what he wants. I'm pretty sure he wanted her to make the entire files disappear. I'm pretty sure he wanted her to make everything disappear. He probably was asking for her to do something that was logistically impossible to get done. And so he fired her, thinking that he could get somebody else in her position and they're going to actually do what he wants her to do, or them to do. Pam Bondi, I hope that everywhere you go, you were harassed by American citizens, United States citizens. I hope that they call you out, they make you feel uncomfortable. I hope that they make you have to retreat and leave America. Because what you did, protecting these evil, sick men, and you didn't even have the job for a full, how long? How long? You wasn't even here for the entire full term. And look at you now, jobless, no employment, right? I'm sure it doesn't matter. It doesn't hurt you too much because I'm pretty sure they slid you a couple of dollars, a couple of checks or whatever for you to be as nasty and evil as you are. You understand? For you to actually turn a blind eye towards the victims and to protect the actual perpetrators. Yeah, I know for a fact they had to have given you something, but you have lost the respect of the American nation. And I hope that every time that you encounter a United States citizen, that they make your life a living hell.
Well, if you're a woman currently working for the Trump administration, girl, you better count your days because it is not looking good so far. We are 2 for 2 with women being fired so far this year, and I'm pretty sure it's going to be more because old Donnie is making a list and taking down names. He gave y'all a year, and if he don't like what y'all are doing, you are out. Now, it looks like Miss Pamela is the latest to be fired. Now, of course, we don't know what happened. I mean, from what I would gather, this is just me assuming. You know, I like to speculate it. If you're new here, I like a little speculation here and there. But what I'm getting from this is that she was no longer of use to him. She probably put her foot down for a couple of things. Well, of course, like people have been saying, you know, they don't like how she handled the Epstein files and blah, blah, blah. You know, they probably just didn't want her to release any of it. But at that point, it's like, why was he so quick to sign that executive order if he wanted to hide it? And if he didn't want it to get out? That's very confusing to me. But anyway, that'll go on the list of things that's confusing to me about this whole administration and this man we're calling a president. But anyway, it's just not really making sense to me. I don't know, something's just not adding up as it tends to do with these folks. And yeah, like I said, it's just giving that she is no longer willing to put her livelihood and career and, you know, her reputation on the line, even though it's probably already damaged beyond repair at this rate. But that's what it's feeling like to me. Like she can no longer be of service to him. She probably does not want to move forward with prosecuting anybody that he's really wanting to have prosecuted, like all of his enemies, as a lot of these clips that I included here today are calling them. It's probably nothing that she could do. I mean, she's an actual lawyer. Now, I mean, we might not like what she was doing and the job that she was doing just for the U.S. government, but I mean, the woman is an actual lawyer. But I don't know, that's just what it's giving to me. And it's kind of given also that, you know, I'm not going to talk trash about you in my statement because I still want you to kind of help me out. Like he's going to keep her around to try to cover up things that he may have done in Florida. Because remember, she was the AG of Florida before she became the Attorney General of, I guess, the United States or whatever the title is. So I think there's definitely something to say about the fact that for either of her or Kristi Noem, they are not really saying that they're fired. They're just trying to be nice about it, just so that they could be in his back pocket if needed. And it's really surprising to me because he's not shy to fire anybody. So I wonder why he's trying to be like diplomatic about it for some reason. Who knows? He's probably trying to keep them in his back pocket just in case he may need them for something one day when that term is over. But you never know. Of course, like I said, I could be completely wrong. I don't know. I don't think I am, because he's trying to make these pretend jobs and agencies, and it's just not making sense. But I mean, we'll see if something comes of it. I don't know what going from the Attorney General of the United States to private sector, what does that really even mean? And of course, a lot of the people, you know, I like to go through the comments. A lot of people in MAGA are saying, oh, well, he didn't say that she was fired. It sounds like a promotion to me. I don't know, like, not to get too off topic, but reading these comments these days, I feel like it's just starting to be like a lost cause at this rate. I feel like a lot of these people in MAGA are just saying anything, because how is it that hard to comprehend if she's a part of the administration and she's no longer in the role that she was hired to be under his administration? So how is that a promotion? I don't get it. How is that not being fired? And now this is another thing, kind of a little off topic. Just from what I'm seeing, it looks like they want her gone because she wasn't holding the people accountable who was going after Trump during the whole Russia thing. I'm like, wow. It's like, and this is what I'm saying. It's like, I feel like they're just saying anything, because how do you want people to be held accountable, but not the man himself? I mean, you just have to just think about what you're actually putting out there. Everybody else has to get arrested, but the man himself who committed probably 100 times worse things over the span of his almost entire life, but you're worried about a Russia investigation where people were doing their jobs. Now, don't get me wrong, I'm not going to sit here and pretend like I know everything of what happened during the Russia investigation and the probe and what they determined. I just know he was after Mueller, and Mueller, of course, passed away like a week or so ago. So that's one that he couldn't. Just imagine he was probably after Mueller on his deathbed. That is insane to me, but I would not be surprised. But yeah, it's just, I don't know what to say for MAGA anymore. I feel like y'all actually are starting to be trolls at this point. I'm just gonna say it. This is my opinion. I know a lot of people might not agree, but y'all are just saying anything just to be opposite, because it just will never make sense to me. Everybody else has to be held accountable, but when you are sitting here crying about what you're not getting and how you're affected by things and how like people in our government want to go after Trump for the things he did wrong, y'all want them to be prosecuted, but y'all don't want the man who did the wrong things to be prosecuted. Is giving delusional, super delusional. And I don't know if y'all could come back from this after he leaves office, but that's a discussion for another day. This is just the second person fired, and I think we're going to see a lot this year. He's probably going to want to try to clean house before those midterms start. He going to want people that's going to go balls to the wall and trying to get people prosecuted and get people to pay for what they've done to him. And I think this is just where it's all going to start. And I think a lot of the women are going to be up to bat at first. You know, he loves to fire him a press secretary, so we'll see how long she lasts. Do you guys think that she's going to have to still testify since she has that subpoena? It's looking like the Republicans could pull a fast one and be like, oh, never mind, we got what we needed, as the videos have mentioned. I wouldn't be surprised. It's kind of just like at this rate, I mean, everything else, you know, they get away with. So why would they be held accountable for this if they decide to not follow through with the subpoena? But I guess we'll see in a couple weeks. It sounds like from the video, it's the hearing is going to take place on the 14th. So we shall see what happens. But don't be surprised if they drop her subpoena. But definitely let me know what you guys think about this down below. Y'all know I want to hear what you think. And don't forget to like and subscribe, because I really appreciate it. And it would help to grow the channel I'm trying to build. And if you've made it this far, don't forget to hype if you can, because that helps out as well. All right, and that's all I have. So I'm going to catch you guys in the next video. Bye. See you later.